Hi, everybody. Illman and Mike Beer. The DRF race of the day for Thursday, December the 21st, race number 2 at Gulfstream Park. Let's throw up the field. This is a first-level allowance with a $20,000 claiming option. We're going 5/8 of a mile on the Tapeta, race number 2. 8 horses in this race, Mike, many of them coming out of a common race. That was on November the 25th. Rolling On, the number 4, finished best of the horses coming out of that race. But you also have some class droppers, and I wonder if that's the way to go.
I kind of thought that it was, although I don't really feel like I'm in a position to knock Rolling On, who, finished best of those 3 horses out of that November 25th race that actually ran very well that day to just miss with an 84 buyer.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this 5/8 stash. And Rolling On is a horse that is going to be up front with a good break. That's where he likes to be, and he's been hitting the board in his last few starts. He's really solid. The question is whether the number 2, Devil's Only Friend, can keep up with him early. This horse was a pace presence 2 and 3 starts back on turf in New Jersey, but facing faster fractions on his synthetic debut, he couldn't keep up early.
Yeah, true enough. We'll see how fast this pace gets. I do think the 4 just might be fastest early. For my money, if anybody challenges this horse on the lead, Dan, it's going to be the 8, if not for luck.
The number 1, Bella Future, has the LP flag over his chiclet. That indicates he has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. And we'll start the analysis in post position order with the number 1, Bella Future. This horse is only 1 for 25 lifetime. He's on a long losing streak, about a year and a half now since his most recent victory. His only win actually came going 2 turns on turf. So there's some question marks with Bella Future. He has shown speed in the past. I don't know where it's gone in his last few races. Maybe it's better suited to longer distance efforts. Finished behind the pace setter last time out, that being Rolling On. It was a race where he kind of worked out an in-out trip and finished 1 paced.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like him. I mean, based on his overall form, it's maybe the best race he's ever run, the most recent start. And to me, he had no excuse in there, Dan. He got a really good trip. He wasn't good enough. He certainly had a shot to at least be 3rd in there, and he couldn't even get that position. He's very consistent. He always shows up. I think you kind of know what you're going to get. I wouldn't bet this horse unless he was some kind of big price.
The 2, Devil's Only Friend, look good on the lead, 2 and 3 back, as I mentioned, in New Jersey on the turf. Tried synthetic in his first start on the surface most recently. This was back in October. He was claimed out of this race. This is a 12-5 beaten claimer, Mike, and he ends up running on at the end to be 3rd, but he was listed as a vet scratch at Gulfstream on November the 25th, and it's taken him yet another month to get back into their entries.
Yeah, that's not a great sign. And listen, this is against a weaker field of horses, and he got a great trip in this race, Dan, and he's just sort of edging closer to the leaders at the end there, but it never looked like he was going to win. I think you also have to take into consideration this horse got into really good form. He was in good form for Weaver. He ran 2 really nice races off the claim for Sweezy, and now he's claimed again.
The 3 is Commandant, and I think he's a little bit dirtied up on form. He won his career debut coming from left field, going 5/8 of a mile at Gulfstream last year. Then they threw him to the wolves in 3 straight stakes races for Florida breds. It took him a long time to get back to the races. He won in his synthetic debut 2 starts back. Last time out, he was disappointed. As the favorite, he just didn't fire, but that race preceded about a 3-month layoff.
Yeah, true. So maybe that's an excuse. I liked his synthetic debut. I know it was a 50 claimer. I just thought he ran well. He worked really hard to win that race, but he got the job done. He didn't run great last time, but I don't think it's maybe as bad as it looks on paper, Dan. He's 4 wide around the track on the chase in there, and he just couldn't really make up significant ground.
He broke from the far outside post that day, a better post position for him here, and he's more tactical than it may appear on paper. I think in a race like this, he can tuck into the second flow. He takes money in a lot of his races. He's unexposed. He's a horse you're going to want to consider in this spot. Rolling On is the number 4, earns an 84 buyer speed figure in this heat last time out. It was a solid paced race. This horse went right to the front. He got out a little bit on the turn. He's going to continue drifting out in the stretch, but he's game to finish 2nd, only beaten a neck.
Yeah, just can't hold off this horse. This horse that winds up winning, Spy Hunter, just hounded him around the track. And this horse was game through the stretch. He just can't quite fight him off at the end. It's a good performance. The other 3 starts on this surface that he's run in the past, they're all good performances. He's got speed. In a lot of ways, he's the horse to beat.
No Name Dude is the number 5. This horse got wired last time out when entered for a $50,000 starter optional. He's getting a little bit of class relief. He was in way too tough 2 starts back, but he showed actually a little bit of speed in that race. I think he can get close to the pace against this group of horses. His race 3 starts back makes me think he's a good fit against this level.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. I mean, I don't think you want to be too hard on him for his last 2 starts. And if you go beyond those, he's got races that make him a real contender in this race for really good connections as well. I suspect he's going to be closer to the pace this time. I think that's the whole key for him, though. He can't get too far away early.
Fast Fixer is the number 6. A horse just stepping up in class, in raging form. He's won his last 3 races, and he's shown versatility in those starts, coming from just off the pace to win 3 starts back, a pace presser 2 back, and in this race, just going right to the front and controlling a group of $8,000 beaten claimers. Didn't change leads, didn't need to.
The figures are headed the right way, and they sort of put him on the cusp anyway of being a contender in this race, Dan. We'll see if he can I think he needs to take one more step forward, and we'll see if he can do that. He's looked good in his recent starts, but he's beating up on much weaker horses than this.
The 7 is Loyal Louis. He is the only 4-time winner in this field, and he just missed last time out when finishing behind Rolling On. The problem is he's also 4 for 42 lifetime with lots of seconds and thirds. This is kind of a trip-dependent closer. He came on the outside late to just miss most recently. Give him some pace, so run on at the end.
Yeah, that's exactly how I looked at him. I mean, I don't love his running style for these short sprint races. He's going to need some hitting up front. He ran fine last time in the Rolling On race. He did wind up wide. He got to save a little ground early, but he wound up edging to the outside. He was wide in the stretch, and he was making up ground, but he wasn't making up quickly enough to be a real threat in there.
The number 8, If Not for Luck, looks like a very strong contender. His most recent start was his first race in about a year and a half. It was also his synthetic debut, and he was sort of buried down inside after breaking from the rail. He's very willing to finish second behind this gate-to-wire winner, however. With this race under his belt, I think he's extremely well spotted against fellow Florida breds.
I do too, and I like him getting outside for this race. I just like the way he keeps on here after he finally gets off the inside. And I get it, Dan. It was a very long layoff. So maybe they just didn't want to be that aggressive with him from the gate in there, but he had speed and he could have made the lead in there if they wanted it. As it turns out, they conceded to the winner. They wound up jammed in behind him there, and I thought he chased that horse home pretty gamely.
Could be nice, clean air from the outside post this time around and a good stalking trip in his second off the very long layoff. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for our Thursday race of the day, and you're going to go with the 8, If Not for Luck. Again, that last race was very promising indeed, considering the lengthy layoff. I like the protecting him this time.
Yeah, I like the effort he put in off that long layoff last time. I'm hoping for a little bit of a better trip here from the outside.
Bella Future has the fastest time form US late pace rating. I think has a little bit more early speed than he's shown in his last few starts. And he's going to have to show it because this horse has only been 1-paced in his last few starts. He's going to have to show a bit more of a kick. I need between 6 and 8 to 1, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it in an 8-horse field. 8-3-4-7 for Mike, 1-4-7-2 for me. DRF race of the day for Thursday. It's the second at Gulfstream Park. Best of luck.